Do not start saying things like, yeah, my teacher made me do this or my teacher made me do that. So let's go to the class rules. The class rules are very, 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 very simple class rules. They're the basic class rules, right? Show up to class on time because participation is important, right? If you don't show up to any of the classes, right? My classes are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday and Sunday not included because, even the Lord rests, right? So Monday through Friday, you have class. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? Those are the days that I will be giving my lectures. Those are the days that I will usually be having a lecture for you guys to listen to. So those days are days that by force, hey, you got to be in class. Tuesdays and Thursdays, however, those are work days. Those are lab days, right? Those lab days mean these are the days you're supposed to be working on the work that I've given you, the assignments that I've delegated out the day previous or for the week. Those are the days that you get to work on them and then ask me questions about them. So I'm just going to drop in on those days and say, hey, does anybody need help with this? Does anybody need help with that? Right? So that now let's go back to the class rules before I elaborate more on my class schedule here. All right. So let me minimize this and bring this over here so you guys can all have a look at the class rules. Essentially, participate. You guys should be contributing in the conversations. Don't bully anybody. No, this is, don't lurk. Don't do anything weird. This is a class for everybody to learn. It's an inclusive class. There's, the thing is, you want to have an atmosphere where you feel comfortable learning, right? I'm not here to shame you for your artistic talents or lack thereof. That's not what this class is about, right? If you want a more serious, that's for my 3D modeling and rendering 2 class. That's when, hey, I start to shame students. No, I don't do that. But I think it's important for you guys to have a space where you guys can learn and fail, and it's okay to fail right now, right? I don't expect you guys to be Tor Frick or Vitaly Bulgarov or Nintendo. Like, I don't expect you guys to be that right now, but I do expect you guys to care enough to ask questions when you need to. If you feel like you're unsure about something, well, just ask me, ask your classmates, ask whoever you need to. Feel free to communicate within each other and say, hey, you know this better than I do. What can you show me how to do that? You know this better than I do. Can you show me how to do that? This is the time for you guys to do that, right? This is the opportunity that you guys are. It's going to be rare in the working field, right, to get these opportunities, because when you get out into the workforce, they expect you to know all of this stuff, right? So I want you guys to participate, feel like you have inclusive, like the students around you, they're not going to share, oh man, this guy's stupid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's dumb, things like that. It's not productive, right? Like, we all didn't know everything at one point, and I still don't know everything. And I still sometimes have to ask some of my colleagues, like, hey, remember this, or do you know how to do that? Or, things like that. It's okay to ask questions, right? So don't feel like you're gonna, it's a stupid question, I'm not one of those people that doesn't believe in that there aren't stupid questions. Because yes, there are some questions that are pretty stupid, but feel free to ask them. Nobody's gonna shame. Nobody's gonna ask your questions. Ask. It's better to ask and get told 100 times than not ask and not know at all, right? Help others, right? This is the benefit of being in an interactive kind of environment that we have right now, is that you have kids that are going to be better than you, right? You have people around you right now that are going to be better than you. They're going to understand it a little faster. That doesn't mean you're not going to understand it ever. That doesn't mean you're not going to be good at it ever. It just means that they're better than you right now, right? So help each other. This is the time, right? Help each other out. Feel free to ask questions. I'm encouraging you guys to kind of be advocates for each other. If you see one of your classmates struggling, right? Hey, what do you need to do? What are you missing? What about the 3D don't you get? This is what I know about it. This, get to these little study groups together. Create your own Discord channel where you can have little powwows, little sessions of, hey, let's model some stuff real quick. Let's do some stuff real quick. Right? That's the kind of atmosphere that breeds creativity. It breeds friendships. You know, when I was in school, me and my friends would get together. Hey, you want to see if we can make this game? You want to see if we can make this level? You want to see if we can do, collaborate, right? You want to write some stuff? I'll shoot. You do this, right? Find what your strengths are, bring it together and collaborate with each other. It's very, very, very important, right? So use proper writing styles. Please don't abbreviate. No, like the LOLs, the SMHs, and all that stuff. Let's try to write full sentences so it's easier to understand. I don't need to understand hieroglyphs to be able to read your comment or read your sentences, right? Please write in proper sentences. Correct spelling, grammar, and style are expected in all academic writing. Scholarships, all your academic, you should have, don't start using, street slang, and cap. Don't be capping everything, right? Like, I don't need emojis as replacement for words. None of that, right? So, I'm pretty cool, but please, just because it's going to train you now to talk appropriately, so that when you get in front of a job, when you get in front of an interviewer, you're not like, oh, cap, bro. None of that. Don't please. I beg you, don't do that. All right. So respect diversity. Your classroom is filled with different kind of people, different religions, different. Just be respectful of everybody's space. Right? Be respectful. Don't use derogatory language when it's unnecessary. Like, it's never necessary, really. So it's important to facilitate a diverse kind of community where everybody feels like they can succeed. Not just one kind of person feels like they can succeed. Everybody should feel like they have the ability to succeed in my class. No flaming, right? Don't start, going on, joning on people. I think that's what we used to call it back in the day. I don't know what people say back in the day. Right now, it's like ragging on somebody, or like, I don't know how you guys say it these days, but back in my day, they call it joning on people. So that means like you're, hey, yo mama this, yo mama, none of that. Don't do that in my class. Don't throw tantrums. I imagine you guys are young adults now, so you shouldn't be talking to each other like that, right? Like, outside of this class, if that's how your little friend group interacts, that's fine. Do your thing outside. But in my class, you're respectful. We're not throwing tantrums. I'm going to treat you like the adult I expect you to be when you leave college, right? This is a college class, right? If you're in college, there's a certain level of maturity I expect you to have attained and have at this point. Right? So I shouldn't have to be, I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad. I shouldn't have to be like, oh my God, where's this kid at? Why is he not in class? Why is he, I'm not here to babysit you guys. I'm here to give you guys a lot of information. I'm here to give you guys the best way you guys can succeed at this modeling thing, right? How to take this from, hey, I like to kind of model on the side, to my full-time job, because this is my full-time job, is not teaching. It's 3D modeling. I work remotely for a company in Florida. I do this for a living. I've done it. I also do it freelance and contract for other companies. So I do this. This is how most of my money comes from, is 3D modeling, right? And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because essentially you're making money from making intangible objects, things people will never get to touch. And, like, you model things and somebody's like, yeah, I'll pay you hundreds of dollars for that. You're like, really? Like, I just made this thing out of thin air. You can't even, I understand if we were like in a factory making iPhones, right? That's not what we do. What we do is, like, we'll make a concept for an iPhone. We'll make a concept for something, we'll design it for you, but it's not a tangible thing yet. And we get to sell it and people are willing to buy it. Think about it. That's insane. That's insanity, right? And we get to get away with doing it for as long as you can. This isn't one of those jobs where you age out of, right? Like, if you understand these skills and you keep learning them, you can do them for as long as you want, right? It's a skill that, like, once you learn how to 3D model, you can 3D model anything. You can 3D print whatever you want. Like, this is a very, 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 very beautiful time to be in 3D modeling. It's a creative field, and it's a field that I feel like is going to change the world. So, Those are, the last rule. Obviously, no profanity, right? Let's keep it classy. It's simple as that. Just it's unnecessary, right? You can explain things, you can talk about things without being profane. All right, so let's get back to our spreadsheet. Does anybody have any questions on the rules or anything? No. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Ask away.
I just had a question about the class schedule and the participation.
Okay.
I think there was a little mix-up as far as registration. I don't think I'm the only one based off the general chat, but there was no description on lecture times or class schedule.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
there never is.
Okay.
It's weird for my class because they never do that. They never say, "Hey, this is when you have to be in the class." And I think it's because it's an online class, so they expect you guys, the instructor, they expect me to set the time, right, and then facilitate it in a way that you guys can come at any point in time and watch or do what you need to do, right? So, and that's
Are
how I
we
tried. I
are we
tried.
not participating or being in class?
Yes, because it's an everyday class. Unless you have a class every day at this time, I find that almost impossible. Is
Well,
there?
the reason being is I work full time,
Okay.
and I've done online classes for the past year and a half, and
Mm,
typically, like the way it's described is basically all the information is available to you, and you basically just make sure your assignments are due at the
yeah, that's pretty much
due time.
it. That's pretty much it for this class. But participation will help you, and if you're in class, it'll definitely help a lot more just because you have me to sound off of rather than trying to wing it on your own. If you have obligations that preclude you from being in the class every single day, I'm not going to hold it against you, but I will not. I won't give you any breaks because you weren't in class, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm not going to say, hey, he can't, that you have the same responsibilities as everybody else. And, I can't dumb my class down just because somebody can't be there. Right.
Yeah, which I just want to make sure I'm not receiving a zero because of
No, you're
participation.
not gonna fail the class but if you don't show up and you don't do your work and you don't participation can be you being on the chats and saying, hey, I have a question about this, asking questions in the class, talking. That's participation as well, right? Interacting with your classmates, that's participation. You don't have to be here, every day logged in to get that participation. It's going to be better for you because I'm available at that time to you, right? And that's for everybody. I'm available at that time. And the more of you guys can be in here, the better it is going to be for you. And I guarantee you, your grades will do better in the long run for that. But if for some reason you got to work a full-time job, hey, the videos are going to be up for you. There's channels that you can, but you've got to participate. You've got to put in some effort as well,
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. All right, so let's get back to how to excel in the CG world. This is kind of like it's an interesting question, and I always pose it to myself every semester just to see if it's changed, right? And I feel like it still hasn't. The same way that you would succeed in, a lot of different artistic fields is how you would succeed in the CG world. So in the CG world, depending on what aspect of the CG world you're going into, success is measured in a few different ways. For me, my success is based on, for me, how I measure success in the CG world is, am I currently gainfully employed? Right? Are my bills met? Can I pay my bills? Right? Do I have some monicum of savings put aside? Right? Though that's what my general level of success is when it comes to the CG world. Am I making enough in CG or 3D or whatever I'm doing to live the life that I feel like I should live? And yes, currently it is doing what it needs to do for me. Right? But for some people, success is, I gotta be making $1 million. I gotta be making, boom, boom. That's so everybody's level of success is different. right? Or everybody's definition, not level, definition of success is different, right? So for you to excel in the CG world, you need to define what your own level of success is. Is it to make good money, make, whatever you consider good money is, whether that's six figures, it's possible in the CG world, but the avenues to do it it might be a little harder than others, right? Programmers make a little more than 3D guys, right? VFX probably makes a little more than 3D guys as well, but we make more than, testers and different things like that. So there are different aspects of the industry that make you a little more money, and it's up to you to do the research and figure out, all right, if money is what I'm trying to figure out or trying to use as my metric of success, then hey, these are the most lucrative aspects of this industry or this field. So the CG world is very, very big, right? There's VFX artists, there's concept artists, there are people who literally, they just dedicate their lives to hair and fur. So all they do is simulate hair and things like that. There are people who all they do is texture, right? There are very niche aspects of the field, and then there are very broad aspects. So there's generalists who are a jack of all trades, and those guys, they exist as well. And you just need to find whatever you like to do and what you hate doing. Kind of stick to what you like to do, and if you hate doing something, hey, don't do that, right? So figure out what you want success to be for yourself in this world. Me, it was understanding the subject matter, being good and efficient at the subject matter, and then being able to provide for my family with what I know, right? And you can definitely excel with that. There's people who make good money just being simulation experts. All they do is simulate fire and smoke and debris falling and different things, and they make good money doing that. So figure out what you want to do and then attack that field like somebody's chasing you, right? Attack. So, my general belief is, hey, how do you succeed? Keep doing that over and over. Keep getting better at it, right? If somebody says, nah, you can't do that, then use that as motivation, right? Do what you need to do to get where you want to get to. Don't let people define what success is. Because the problem is that I see a lot is people have let other people, maybe their parents, decide what success is. If your parents are a doctor, well, then you should be a doctor. And they usually have, the right intentions, right? They mean well for you, but it's your life, right? It's your life. What do you feel comfortable doing, right? What are you good at, right? What brings you joy? Sometimes what brings you joy might not make you any money, but are you okay with that? Right? Are you okay with the limited earning potential that you could have doing a certain job? If you're okay with that and you can zippity doo dah walk through who cares, right? Like that's the main idea. It's like, yo, whatever you want to do in life, pursue it 100% and create value. If you create value out of anything, I promise you the money will come. If you create value in anything, right? If you find something, create value for other people, you will excel at it, and money will just be a byproduct of it, right? So, the CG world is vast, it's big, and, everybody's still kind of trying to eke out their own little existence in there. And trust me, if you guys stick to it, find what you like to do, you guys will be able to do the same as well. So let's talk about how to utilize the Discord channel. So let's get back to Discord. And the most important thing about the Discord channel is going to be this student resources area right here at the top. And this area is where you are going to find pretty much all the things you need to know. So the first is the classroom rules. Take a gander at it, read it, do what you got to do. And then the tutorials and the links. Here are a lot of tutorials, right? If you have a question about anything, trust me, YouTube is your friend. There ain't nothing you can't learn from YouTube, right? I would suggest you on your YouTube channel right now going to subscribe to these guys, Aramis 3D, Autodesk. Subscribe to my channel, just a shameless plug. Also, I'm your instructor. Just go and do it. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. but subscribe to these guys because they post content all the time and there's stuff that you can learn there. So these are the tutorials and links section. Posting guidelines. Everybody should download this, right? This is a template for how you should be posting your stuff. Download it. Here's my contact information and where you can find all of my stuff, right? If I do a podcast called The Art of Struggle where I talk about video games, movies, the industry, and much, much, much more. That's my tagline, by the way. You can find me on iTunes, Anchor, pretty much wherever you can get podcasts from. A comic book. I wrote free 3D assets that I offer. Tutorial links. Here's my my personal tutorials that you can go and check out. Right? So you have all of these resources at your fingertips. Right? So here's contact information. If you are currently in high school, I think this is, I don't know what school this is, but this is the Vivian. I don't know if she's still the assistant principal there, but the Dallas ISD, this is her information. This is her contact. If you have any questions about anything, comments, concerns, definitely get with your, if you're not working at or going to school at Richland or any of the community colleges and you're still in high school, right? Seek help from your vice principals, your principals, people who can really get your problem solved. If you don't have a computer, if you don't have, the software you need, right? Get with these people as soon as possible, because the sooner you get your stuff ready, the sooner you've got your computers, everything running and ready to go, the better you're going to be. The more, receptive you're going to be to the information if you're not having to hunt down all this stuff. All right. So I've got a lot of contact information for you guys in here. Free software, right? I always will have this page available to you guys, and you guys should come back to this, because what I won't do is lie to you guys. Is 3D and modeling and CG easy work? No, it's not easy work. It's not easy in the least bit, right? But what it is something that once you learn it, it becomes easier to do it, because it becomes like muscle memory, right? If you've done the same operation 1,000 times, right? When you run into it 1,001 times, you know what to do. You don't even think about it sometimes, right? So a lot of the stuff that I'll teach you, Wes, will be muscle memory and doing it over and over again. But it does take time to wire that stuff into your brain. And there is going to be a lot of software that's going to be thrown at you. Is this a cheap field to get into? No. It's very expensive to be a 3D artist, a CG artist. It costs thousands of dollars to hold the licenses to even do some of this stuff. So why this free software channel is important is because it gives you free alternatives to all of the things that we're talking about. All of the software we use, there's free alternatives to everything. And as students, I understand that once you get out, it's going to be extremely hard to get your hands on financing to even do this job. So I always give you guys free alternatives, because trust me, when I first got out, I couldn't afford any of this stuff. I couldn't afford this at all. All right. But free software existed that allowed me to get from point A to point B. And then when I was in a financially advantageous position, I was able to purchase those softwares that I needed to do. So now, spending $1,000 for a piece of software doesn't seem too crazy to me. Spending a couple $100 on a plugin ain't too crazy. But there was a time when it would be deciding between 3ds Max and a bunch of other stuff, and then food. I need food. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna eat. So that's how a lot of it is. And my goal is to get you guys to not be starving artists, right? I hate that trope. I hate that, that whole starving artist thing. That is the worst thing to me. I do not like that at all, right? Because a lot of the times, the reason is because a lot of artists don't become, they don't get notoriety until they're passing, right? The Van Goghs, the Picassos, right? They weren't really, I think is Picasso or Van Gogh maybe sold one painting while he was alive, right? All of a sudden he dies and he's king everything, no. Y'all need to eat. There's lights that need to be paid for. You got computers you got to buy. You got software you got to, my thing is on the side of learning how to 3D model, I'm going to try to put you guys on game as to how to conduct yourself business-wise, right? How to get your contracts in order, right? How to take an art test, how to do your little interview right so that you don't look like a fool in front of your, whoever is interviewing you. How to stand out in the job market, how to build your portfolio so you're giving yourself the best chance to getting the job or to getting the gig or finding a gig, right? Things like that is what I'm going to try to assist you guys on in between the classes of teaching you how to model. And one day it might not be useful to you today, or you might not be able to be receptive to it today, but one day you're going to be like, that was that one thing he was telling me, da-da-da. Hopefully that I've recorded it. There's a video on it. You can just check it out on my YouTube channel or wherever because the thing is, at the end of the day, when you leave Richland, those shells that they're making us post in, that stuff, they're going to close it out. They're going to archive it somewhere. You're not going to have access to it. But what will be forever is this channel and my YouTube, right? Where you can go back, watch those videos, watch the comments or read whatever you need, because a lot of this class and a lot of the reason I came back to teach or go to teach is because there was a lot of resources that I didn't have when I was coming into the 3D game. Like, there was a lot of game that nobody gave me that I had to learn on my own, that I had to learn just struggling, right? There had been days when I'm like, man, I haven't gotten paid from this client that I'm working with, and I've had to sit in people's parking lots and wait for them to hey, pay me my money. I want you guys to avoid all of that. I want you guys to not have to deal with don't have to ever deal with that, because I'm going to get you guys on the right path to laying down get your contracts in order, get half the money up front. Little things that'll save you, that's going to put food in your bellies, food in your fridge, keep your lights on, keep your rents paid, and keep you going along, right? Because I'm telling you, it's a hard field, but once you get in it and once you get into it, it feels like you're stealing you're stealing the money that you're getting. It feels like this. I'm like, man, I get to do this for a living. I get to, I'm telling you guys that. So, that's the free software part. It's going to be hard once you guys get out of here, because the costs of this stuff it's pretty high. ZBrush, at least $500. Photoshop, couple $100, maybe it's like $50 a month. Substance, $50 a month. 3ds Max, that's like $200-$300 a month. So the costs start racking up, and if you're not bringing any money in, where's this money gonna come from to buy all this software, to license all? You ain't got that. That's why this free software section is very important. Check it out. Unreal Engine, free of charge. Unity Engine, free of charge. Those are just free game engines that you guys should be and have on your computer. There's software that's free for students. Substance 3D, free for students. Autodesk, all their products, free for students. You guys listen? Free for students. Video editing. You want to be a video editor, that's your thing? There's a free one that's called FX. What's it called? Let's see. HitFilm Express, free of charge. All right. Photo editing. There's GIMP, right? GIMP, free of charge. Photopea is like Photoshop, but it's online, free of charge, right? Free of charge, right? That should be the name of this part of the talk. Free of charge. Sculpting, Sculptress right now. It's a sculpting software made by the same people who make ZBrush. Free of charge, right? So I've given you game engines, sculpting, photo editing and painting, video, modeling, Blender. That is free of charge, right? These are all pieces of software that help you do the job but currently are free to students. A lot of these are just free to students, but once you get into the real world, you're going to have to start paying for them, right? So learn them now. Learn them now so that what you can do is you'll then pass off the costs of your software to whoever is employing you or whoever you're contracting with. And I'll show you how you guys can do that in later videos as the class progresses. All right. Modeling them shapes. This is just an archive of just images and images and images and images of modeling, subdivision modeling, poly modeling, right? How to get corners if you're getting issues with funky things going on in your geometry. Look through here. You might see a piece of model or a piece of wire that, oh, that's going to fix that little error. I'm getting these weird cross sections, or I'm getting this weird shading. How do I fix that? Right? How do I create a shape, a cylinder coming out of a cylinder? Boom, here's the topology flow for it, right? Things like this will help you become a better 3D artist. Look through these, right? Get familiar with sub-D modeling, because yes, things like Unreal is bringing their new unlimited detail, stuff to nanite. That stuff's coming to the forefront now. But trust me, there will never be, a shortage of people who need and want good 3D artists, people who understand geometry, who understand topology, right? There are starting to be a dime a dozen because people are starting to think, I don't need to understand how topology works. I can just make my mesh however I can make it, and then I'm good to go. Wrong, right? If you don't understand how things deform, if you don't understand, you need to understand the rules before you can break them. And if you guys don't understand them, you're not going to be able to break them appropriately. All right. So this is what this thread is for. I always throw in, cool shapes, people who model cool things and how they do their topology so that you can get the best flow for your work. My office hours are Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So, you can reach me at any of those times. Don't be hitting me up at 2 in the morning. Oh, I didn't know what to do with my homework. Well, you had all week to do that. All right. These are my office hours. Text me through chat, through Discord, email. I don't usually check often. I'm required to check my emails from the school every week. So if that's what you want to hit me once a week, that's your thing, right? Like I'm not gonna babysit anybody. This is one of those fields. It's a very self-starter driven league. Nobody's gonna hold your hand, to do something that you're paying good money to do, right? I get paid for this. You are paying for this, literally. And if you don't pay attention, you will be paying for it figuratively in your grade, right? That's pretty much how life works, right? You put in what you expect to get out. You put in the time, you put in the effort, you ask the questions, you will get a lot out of this class. If you just sit there and just hope that Mr. Fatai notices me, that's not going to happen, right? Like you need to be, hey, I need this done. I need to understand this. Can you pop in, and I'm not above hopping into your chat. You share your screen with me. I share my screen. We work through an issue together. But if you don't ask me, you don't, pursue that, then I won't know. And I can't help people. I'm not a mind reader, right? You communicate. I will, okay, you need help with this. I'll jump in that chat. If you don't tell me, I don't know, right? You posting once a month and then be like, well, he's not going to help me. Well, that's your fault. I don't feel sorry for you if you post once a month in a class where we meet every single day and then expect to pass my class. You're not passing. I'm sorry. The principal could write to me. God could write to me. You're not passing my class. All right. So be studious. Be studious. Ask questions when you have problems. These are my office hours available to you. Class schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. My lecture days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, unless told otherwise, are your lab days, right? Unless I say, hey, I have a special something that I want to say on Tuesday or Thursday, but usually I'll let you know like a week in advance or a day in advance. Hey, Tuesday I have a lecture for you guys that's very important. I'd love for you guys to tune in, right? And I will always ask you guys before I do that, right? Even I respect you guys enough to know when I set my boundaries, when I set something, hey, Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are your work days. I know you need those to work. So me asking you for that is a favor that you guys can do for me. So I respect you guys, and I would expect you guys to respect my time as well. So that's that. So here are my lectures that I give, right? I will post a lot of them here, but a lot of them will be found on my Art of Struggle page, right? Right here, there's literally a playlist that will say tips. So there should be, there you go. So modeling and rendering spring 2021, your class will have its own, right? And you can go in there for my lectures for your class. All right. So reviews, my painting, modeling, and so it's all here for you. You shouldn't have an excuse. There shouldn't be, oh, I didn't see that. Well, he recorded the videos. Did you go back and watch the videos? Right? So lectures, there's 15 videos in here. Right? If you miss one of my lectures or I don't post them, you can even look at the previous lectures from other classes to edify yourself as to what you're going to get. And if you guys, what I would do is if I knew one of my teachers had a YouTube channel, I'd go see what kind of videos they posted, try to familiarize myself with it. But that's just me. That's just your boy here. That's what I would do, right? If you guys hadn't looked me up and this is the first time you're hearing about me, I don't know what to tell you. Find out. I'm not saying that in the sense that, I'm supposed to be some super famous YouTuber. I'm saying that if you know who your professor is, if look them up. What's their past history? You should have asked, hey, what's his class like? Is he a hard teacher? Is he this? Is he that? What do I need to bring in? You should do your due diligence, right? For me, if I'm going to apply for a job, right, I look up the company name. I look up who's in charge of hiring, who their talent is, the kind of work they do. I watch those videos. I say, okay, just so that when I go into the interview, it sounds like you doing your research, I'm doing my research too. Oh yeah, I saw you guys did earn this much last year. I saw you guys worked with these people last year. I love that company, blah, blah, blah. Now you got stuff to talk about. Now, that's just the basics of being interested or showing that you've got interest, showing a little gumption every once in a while. Say, hey, I'm doing my research. I know what to expect, and you're not going into anything kind of blind. It'll give you personally a little more confidence, right? If you're not just they're not just bombarding you with questions and you have questions yourself. So we've got 5 minutes left. Let's see. So every single class day, I need you guys to show right here. You're gonna, instead of saying here present, that's fine for today. But the proper format is, let's go into the proper format for posting your attendance is going to be your first name, your first and last name, the date, and then present, right? So every day I'm going to come in, I'm going to check in on your projects. I'm going to say, hey, this is where are you guys at? You're going to have posted something. I check every channel to see what you've posted, give my comments, my feedback to see, hey, who needs help, who doesn't need help, things like that. All right. Make sure your phone forms are updated. Download the posting template that I posted in the channel. I've told you several times, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are my lectures. Tuesdays and Thursdays are work days. All right. We will probably do this next class because I feel like we've only got 4 minutes left. So we'll do this next class. Who are you guys? And just because the class is so big, it's probably going to take up a good chunk of class. Except I'll make that actually an assignment. So this will be your assignment right here. Oops. Where you guys will just tell me who you are. I'll post it in the chat so that you guys can just give me a brief synopsis in your channels And make sure you have a channel in there. If you don't see your name in this Discord channel, if you don't see your name in the student threads and the drawing threads, let me know so I can add you to it. All right. Let's see. What else can I go over? I've gone over how to reach me. All right. So yeah, your first assignment is to gather your most recent artwork for a show and tell next class. Right? Write a brief description about what you think art is. Create an ArtStation account. Actually, you don't need to create the ArtStation account. That will be for like the end of class. And then follow me on just YouTube. You don't need to follow me on ArtStation because that'll be something for towards the end of the class whenever you're building a portfolio. And that's where you're going to build your portfolio is your ArtStation. So we will do that at the end of, closer to the end of class. So your assignment's just going to be this. Who are you? You can tell me a little bit about yourself, your full name, your level of 3D knowledge, what do you hope to get out of the class, and a hobby that you have. So we will discuss that next class. I will post that in the assignments thread. Oops, sorry. This is actually my current work. So working on buildings and stuff. I'll show you guys some of what I do a little later. You know, we'll get to know each other very well as the class progresses. But yeah. With the last 2 minutes, does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for me about the class as I post your assignment for the day?
Do you have a preference of what we start in? If we have like some previous experience in building modeling in Blender, should we kind of just wipe the slate clean and just kind of go, or should we kind of lean one way?
You know, this is what I always say if you feel like you are super knowledgeable inside of like Blender, whatever software you use, fine with me. But I am an expert in 3ds Max, and a lot of the questions that arise in 3ds Max, I can help you troubleshoot. If you know Blender and you understand Blender, there's nothing wrong with using that for the class. If you understand Maya, whatever software you use, that's fine. But I use 3ds Max, and that's what I'm going to teach. There's a ton of resources out there for Blender. So if there's a specific case use or something, well, I might not be able to help you immediately. I'll have to do a little research myself and then get back to you on that. But you know, if you know the software really well, hey, more power to you. And especially, you know, Blender, because Blender is freeware, it's part of the freeware. And I personally like Blender myself because it's free. It's a free program to use and it'll never cost you anything. But like I said, I teach 3ds Max. If you know the other softwares really well, boom, you're good to go. If you don't and you feel like you're still kind of learning and you're struggling, hey, switch over to 3ds Max, learn 3ds Max, and you can still learn whatever software you need to learn after you learn 3ds Max, and I can show you and help you understand those basic modeling concepts, because the modeling concepts that I'm teaching you transfer to any other program. Right?
Yeah, that was my next question.
It transfers to any other program, because what I'm going to show you is you only need to master a few of these, you know, key attributes of your modeling software, and then, just tell me where I need to find it in this program. Tell me where I need to find it in this program, and then you can kind of traverse from there. So, yeah, that's my answer. It's not a yes or no. It's more of a, if you're good at it, go for it.
I have a question.
Ask away.
Class expectation. I know we just went over a lot of this, but what are the assignments that we're going to be asked to prepare, and what is your estimation on time and expectation that we should set aside outside of class to be able to do these projects?
Okay, so for your
so that we can kind of
to pass my class, right? To pass my class, this is a very good question. Great question. To pass my class, you will need to complete 3 assets the crate, the coin, and the barrel. High poly, low poly, bake it, and then the presentation, right? You need to complete those 3 assets. You're going to have your the modeling assets that I'll show you in class, right? And those will go into your kind of weekly grade as long as the weekly drawings, right? Your final project will be an independent model that you can find anywhere. You present me with the assets you want to model. I pick one, you go and model it, light it, and render it, right? So every week, we're going to be modeling something that you will be expected to follow along with and model yourself, right? What I usually do is, either I'll find like a cover of something. This class, I'm thinking I've been kind of batting around the idea of doing like a cover of a video game, like maybe Minecraft or a level in one of these games, and just going through modeling every one of the assets. I'm starting to lean towards maybe this as like our class project that we all go through. So, you guys can watch how I would do something like this or something like this, So maybe we, just so I can show you guys modeling and rendering. And this is like something we would do every week. But to pass the class, the crate, the coin, and the barrel are what is assigned to you. These are tutorials that I have online. They're posted, right, on my channel. You follow those from start to finish. You render those out. You will pass these class. You do your classwork. You do your weekly drawings. You will pass this class. You don't do any of these, you will not pass this class, right? And that's going to be simple. I'm going to have this in your thread as well, so that everything is available for you guys to see. They'll be due a week before the class is over, so that you guys have had ample time to kind of do your thing. So, like I said, every week we're going to be modeling something, right? That's what I'm going to do for my hours. Hey, I'll show you my 3ds Max screen or whatever, and then we go through and I model it, and whenever you get home, you'll take maybe an hour or so. You'll do the same thing, right? You'll model that. You'll post your progress, right? Your crate, your coin, and your barrel, those are that's like your midterm, kind of your midterm and final grade. Those are your biggest grades for this class, right? But the class modeling assets and your weekly drawings and stuff, that also equates to your grade, but it's not going to be as big as these pieces right here. Because if you can show me that you can do these 3 pieces, well, you can pretty much make any other piece, right? You do a convincing crate, barrel, and coin, you understand the basics of 3D modeling, right? So that's why the class is structured this way. Does that explain it?
Yes. Are you going over those 3 different assets as you teach the class?
Yes. I will go over them as well, because what usually happens is they will be they usually come up because these are essentially assets that are in pretty much every single game. There's always a crate somewhere, a barrel somewhere, and coins that you can collect, right? So I'm going to go over the assets in class, and then we'll model them as well. So that's the assignments. I'll post those in the chat as well. Does anybody have any other questions?
I did.
Okay, ask away.
Just real quick, I am completely brand new to 3D modeling, and so when you mentioned the assignment as far as produce your work, I wasn't sure, like something I've done in another class. But
yes.
3D at all.
Yeah. Okay. So when so you've never drawn a picture, you've never painted anything, you've never been asked to do any kind of artistic work.
Okay. Yeah. Now that I was just making sure you wasn't meaning something 3D wise.
Oh no, it doesn't have to be 3D wise. What I want to judge is in my other classes when I was at the actual school, what we would do is we'd have like a kind of a show and tell. If you rapped, you would stand up and do your little rap, or if you had a poem, you would do your poem. If it was visual, whatever it is, artistic wise. I just kind of want to get everybody's inclination towards art right now, where you are currently and where we're gonna go. So That's pretty much it. It doesn't have to be 3D. If it's 3D though, that's a little better because then I can judge your 3D skills. But if you don't have any 3D skills, what are your 2D skills, right? So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. If nobody has any other questions, you guys are free to go. I'm going to post your assignment in the assignment thread. Hopefully, I will talk to you guys tomorrow, see if you guys have any questions for me, and then we will meet up for another lecture on Wednesday. Sound good?
Cool. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your classes and get out there and kick ass.
Thanks.
What?
Oh. What was that? You have a question?
Yeah. What time are you going to be available tomorrow? Around 10?
Same time, noon to 1.
Noon to 1. Okay.
Noon to
Thank
1.
you.
Yeah. You wait. See if anybody else has any questions before I get out of here.